Chapter 14, Silent Soldier. The only way to force or drive you out of your situation is to literally have your two worlds collide, a supernova event where you know your universe must change directions. You can't stay in the same environment because you're on another level, and the disaster that continues to unfold in front of you offers no inspiration or hope. Growth happens when you plan your next move to elevate your life or pursue what you have to offer. If you are merely just looking for the next high or the next rush to try something new with a different landscape, then you will quickly fall back into the same place. Don't just follow the next crisis because the one you're currently in is exhausting you. If your decisions are pure and true, you've thought it through, you've written it down, your goals, and it aligns with your passion, then go for it. I laugh at those who say the grass isn't always greener when you take a risk and it doesn't work out. I respond quickly with, I have no regrets with my decision. I learned from that opportunity and matured as a more confident leader. The sad part is that you've convinced yourself that the grass is green under your feet because you've chosen to stay in the same spot for years and too afraid to leave your comfort zone. The more we understand our skills and put them to work, the more the environment conforms to us. You have an ability that no one else has. It's you. No one else can be you. It's up to you, though, on how you use it. You can be constantly abused and playing the victim, or you can be someone with energy and a vision towards something better. Here's the tough part. Today's energy and excitement for an amazing future won't last. The growth rings you earn must build on each other, or you'll live life lifeless. It will never be enough to carry it forward if it's barely hanging on each day. Each time I felt that fire burning up again, I didn't let it go out. I worked hard to keep it burning, to find motivation and inspiration. As the internet continues to grow, we are surrounded by powerful influences. You may not use everything and not everything fits, but you must constantly evaluate yourself, your actions, your body language, and even your attitude for starting the day. For the average person with no long-term strategy, just surviving and hoping things work out, will have no reason to thoroughly inspect themselves. You, on the other hand, must look at this as a change as the process, continue to respect it, and know where the shortcomings are and where you have an opportunity to sharpen it. If you catch yourself drifting, getting caught up in a stressful situation, or even feel your smile slowly fading because you've lost the thrill of the kill, then you better soul search and light that fire again. A silent soldier knows the art of awareness is key because life has a way of demanding so much out of us that only the determined will prosper. The system is designed this way. No one gets out of this life without pain, regret, or struggles. Let your struggles become a part of the process so it doesn't deter you from your future self. Your future self will love you and thank you for being a relentless leader who refused to die. Don't fall back into the depths of depression. The world is full of lonely people waiting to make the first move. The system is designed to give you just enough to fill your needs and then experience a taste of your wants. The feeling in return makes you work just hard enough to have it, but also just hard enough to want more rest to keep it going. As Steve Jobs said, use the weekend to build the life you want instead of trying to escape the life you have. Steve also had a profound and deep message for the world while he was lying on his deathbed. These words are not to be taken lightly because the meaning of life is explained by someone who is closest to death. I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In others' eyes, my life is an epitome of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, wealth is only a fact of life that I am accustomed to. At this moment, lying on the sick bed and recalling my whole life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of impending death. In the darkness, I look at the green lights from the life support machines and hear the humming mechanical sounds. I can feel the breath of God, of death, drawing closer. Now, I know when we have accumulated sufficient wealth to last our lifetime, we should pursue other matters that are unrelated to wealth. Should be something that is more important. Perhaps relationships, perhaps art, perhaps a dream from younger days. Non-stop pursuing of wealth will only turn a person into a twisted being just like me. We should never chase money or the finer things of life, but pursue being the best version of ourselves, and those things will come. We all want security and comfort from the heavy burdens that this life demands just to survive. So getting out of the paycheck to paycheck situation is step one to being our best. Even a poor, broken man can have the same opportunities and bring value, but there is something magical about a person who is thriving because they were blessed in life from not only their hard work, but their character and their perseverance. Do you have the ability to handle your responsibilities, but still take a step back and maintain focus on the bigger goal? Do you know how to not become consumed or overwhelmed with all the day that it brings? Is your mind creating energy for today to build tomorrow, or is it down, defeated, and still recovering from yesterday's blows? I had a situation one time where I couldn't program my mind to be comfortable. Daylight savings time. The clock is set back an hour, but I left my bedside alarm clock an hour ahead. My brain couldn't accept this and ended up waking up 4 different times to double check the time, thinking I was going to be late for work. Even though I had set the alarm on my phone and I knew the time was right, I couldn't turn off the "what if it isn't correct" thoughts. The mind works the same way when you channel it and determine what goes into it. Do you wander or do you drive to a vision? How much time, how many hours are wasted when you just want to turn your mind off? It's exhausting having the engine always running just in case, but what are you preparing for? The mind transformed to passion can push toward a complete goal, but it requires you to change your routine. Life moves so fast. Think about how bad we want things now. We fill voids or we keep our temporary sanity working towards stability and finding our comfort zone. So, when you're ready to make the switch or transition, sacrifice becomes a new meaning. Sacrifice now isn't the same when you were younger. The end goal, though, is always the same because it's your drive to overcome. Understand time and its value. I can relate to a time I coached high school basketball and how important it was to control the possession. Each player had to value the possession on either side to not make the mistake or have a lapse in judgment. Even if the possession went on for minutes, I pushed for them to stay disciplined to their role. If each player would do this and stick to the plan, they would avoid costly mistakes. Timing is everything, and at some point you have to attack, but you can't force it. On the other hand, just like in basketball, if you attack and turn it over, there are many more possessions to reclaim control. Don't get hung up on failed attempts. There are many comparisons with sports and your journey as a leader. Create the opportunity either for yourself or your teammate to give yourself the best chance. Trusting the process is important because things always move fast and they will always consume your time to keep you busy. Trade busy work for valuable efforts that help you manage your time and productivity. The butterfly effect influences the silent soldier because it marks the stages of our life at a young age to when we grow up as a mature adult. The beauty of a butterfly and the process it must go through to get there is amazing in itself. But what does the butterfly do now that he is out on his own? I've observed many people and can't help but wonder how many never acted on their plan or their passion. How many were stifled by a circumstance they had no control over? How many never got over that pain and hurt from their parents or even a family member? How many listened to the authority above them that said they had no chance? How many refused to find training or spend the time and money necessary to position themselves? How many missed their chance because they were looking back at everything that would have been instead of looking forward to what they could make it be? How many have put all that work in to become a beautiful butterfly, but are now lost not knowing their purpose? Think about some of your greatest moments or high school sports stories or college accomplishments, job accomplishments. The list goes on. How quickly do they become distant memories? Think of life as moments that move way too fast, but notice how much we hold on to being in the spotlight. How much you put into that great moment just for that moment to literally be a moment. You must keep that memory alive because it moves to the past so fast. Ask yourself what your goal is and what it fuels you, ignites you, or gives you that tingle of excitement. That's what you need to pursue. I've always pursued what I've enjoyed doing, and success and money followed. Money was a motivation because, again, it's what makes the world go round. But when I was content doing what I loved, it sparked even more creation and energy to be a better leader. Just remember, the more you run from your problems, the faster they get at catching back up to you. They thrive on weakness and avoidance. Just as a pack of wolves, wild dogs, or hyenas circle and chase down their prey, your problems love the chase because it makes the reward even better for them. Your past, your problems, your ego, your lack of ability will catch you if you don't aggressively make each moment count. Be proud of who you are, but back it up with strong leadership. Too many times we explode or react, but in the end up in no better position. I won't be treated that way, or no one's going to disrespect me and get away with it. Your response is everything because you're building your character each time. It's bigger than just the moment or the situation. It's building a stronger foundation each time you show maturity and the ability to resolve the conflict. An example of overreacting I recall one time was during coaching. Over the years, I ran into some interesting refs who found out quickly that they might be in control of the game, but they are not in control of me. Now, I was not normally one to get on the refs because our team usually made enough mistakes on their own that they could have changed the game. A few particular games, though, some refs thought that they were going to try to put me in my place. Didn't happen much, but they put on their striped shirt and their egos made them feel like they were something special. I had one guy tell me I wasn't allowed to talk. Another one said I wasn't allowed to move another step after I was accused of going after him. An even funnier one, that I believe may be the first, was a ref at a scrimmage. It was a bang-bang play, and I reacted with some emotion, more of just excitement because it went against us, but nothing outside the normal. He came flying up to me, told me to settle down, so I just said in a calm voice, I disagree with the call. And somehow that sent him over the edge. He literally looked at the other coach, threw his hands up and said, I'm done, and threw himself out of the game. I looked at the other coach in confusion and said, should we keep playing? We finished the scrimmage without a ref. The point is, leadership runs a fine line of using authority and abusing authority. If the other side is never allowed to have a say because you're in charge, then it'll never work. Those refs flexing their muscles that they have the final say only made me want to disrespect them more. At the end of the day, the game ends and they go home to whatever it is they do in charge of nothing in my life. Respect people for who they are, but also respect the boundaries of leadership and authority. Being a silent soldier means standing your ground to establish boundaries. I had a situation working for a company where I was the project manager, and my account was to oversee one of the big 3 automotive companies. This automotive company always wanted the schedule done faster and changes done for free. We were constantly in a battle fighting with other suppliers to make our project work. In one case, the project manager for this automobile company cussed me out in my face and told me what I needed to do and how it was going to be. This Italian guy had a little fire in him, and rightfully so. He was responsible for a large and expensive project. Well, he found out quick that day where the boundary line was. I never reacted. I put my shoulders back and I made it clear that this was his lifeline to the project and could cut him off faster than the conversation we just had. I informed him that my job is to make sure our customers are happy, but there is nothing that says I must jump because you say so. Again, establish boundaries. I hit a huge growth through this project, though, because I was able to emotionally keep myself together and in check. However, I made it very clear who we were and what we were going to do per the schedule, that our reputation as a company and me as an individual is bigger than his title. We must focus on what we can control, and there is no way to ever avoid conflict or someone disrespecting you, but you do have options. Loyalty is a tough feeling nowadays because as you establish boundaries, you must also establish where you fit. You can make choices that are best for you and still maintain integrity. Being loyal also means being loyal to yourself and finding a fit that fits best for you. It's a tough place to be, but the reward when handled properly will be paid back 10 times over. As you carry another badge of leadership and confidence, you gain maturity from your experiences. I've encountered so many blessings that have carried me higher and higher each time I position myself. Remember, we are creating our future through our experiences, and if used right, will be the catalyst to everything great coming into your life. We go at life similar to how people get back to doing their workouts, and my wife has fallen for this many times over the years. She will go all out and destroy her muscles. You know how that first time feels. You feel good and you start really enjoying the pump. She says she knows she should ease into it, but takes them to failure, and then she is struggling to make it past 2 weeks. Her muscles are toast, and the cycle starts over for someday in the future. In the moment, though, it felt right. It felt good, but she didn't prepare for it. How many of us go at our goals or plans like a kamikaze fighter plane? No mercy, just unconscious behavior, and then you find yourself right back in the same spot. The goal is to maintain and reach higher levels, not touch the sky and then plummet 30,000 feet to your mental state of death. We want to be like a boxer, taking blows but protected from a fury of hits, and then bam, knockout. The right time, the right moment. Do 100 hits in boxing mean the same as one? No, it doesn't, but those 100 could be preparing you for that special one. Those 100 hits could also feel pointless and useless knowing you could have just got it done with one, but it takes the right time, the right place, and the right moment. That's when you load up with the haymaker and make perfect contact. Knockout. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and start taking steps towards your future you. Nothing else matters. The critics, the failures, the doubt. You must decide enough is enough. Quit getting mad that you peed in the wind and got pee all over yourself. We do the same monotonous things over and still get frustrated that we didn't see a different outcome. The instinct to survive and the determination to succeed can power you through, but the mind and the mental state play a critical role. Will it be a rolling movement built on confidence or a revolving door where it's constantly visited but no actual true progress? I always knew my ability and capability and where my life was going to be. There have been a lot of struggles in between with my family, money, discipline, and outside factors. Along the way, I had not found what I truly wanted to do, but I would always do things that allowed me to use my gift and skills that I had learned throughout the years. I was not going to fall back in line. Every move I was making was one for me to discover what I really wanted and to position me to lead and develop other people around me. I share my perspective to help give you perspective. We will all fight our own journey, but you'll find that each story isn't so different. Levels to turn great to greatness. Level 1. Start preparing for the fire. What will you start with? What tools do you have? What's needed to get it started? Level 2. Light the fire and baby it until it takes off and can hold its own. Level 3. Gets tougher now. Got to keep it burning. Discover what materials, tools, and skills you will put on it to keep it going. Level 4. Great. Learn how to value the fire when it's big and when it's coals. Each stage has its own purpose. Level 5. Greatness. Mind shift. A movement where you accept who you are and you get tired of the ups and downs and the setbacks. You know what you know. You believe and you are confident. It may not have happened to its fullest yet, but it's there. You know it and you can feel it. Greatness sets in motion a ripple effect, and it's contagious and bold reflection of who you are each day. When people start to be surrounded by this level, they don't question who you are, and they know where you stand. They may not always agree, but they know your boundaries, and they know what you expect. Remember, your authority comes with responsibility, so it can't be a one-way street. You possess the authority, but you are building your leadership to be a reflection in those you lead, and for them to one day use that inspiration and knowledge to help them become the leaders they were destined to be. I have had some things hurt me severely, and I would hide behind my insecurities, bury those feelings, and isolate myself. No one wins burying their head in the sand, though. You must be different and show what true courage and fight looks like. A coward who has lost his will to fight has little to offer this world. Face what has pinned you down and believe that you can rise again. People have a tendency to use their hurt as a way to justify their lifeless life. They have no zeal for life, and their satisfaction comes from settling. It's time to settle your situation. The debt has been paid. Pick up your mat and walk. Open your eyes, and you will see purpose. Life doesn't heal the broken just because you're hurting. Healing comes to those who take up their situation, throw it aside, and walk by faith and with purpose. A silent soldier is poised no matter the situation. As you drift, you become dead to creativity and lost in the routine of complacency. Fear, panic, and a lost sense of direction become obvious. How you react and respond is crucial and critical. Wrong moves mean setbacks. Right moves may prove to be useless. Take very special note that these obstacles can never be avoided. You can't have good without the bad, and you can't have progress without understanding what setbacks look like. Just as you need to establish boundaries in your life, so does the universe. It requires a constant turmoil between the physical and psychological realm. I challenge you to ask yourself what you love the most and then pursue it. I enjoy leading people, but I also have another side that when pushed too far will show itself. I don't like being disrespected or talked down to, so when it happens, I bring a lot of moxie and fire. I encourage you to maintain composure, but in the event that you have to strike, keep your fire, but be professional. You want to control the conversation, not wreck it. I think about the inspiration over the years, even when I just wanted to be left alone. I always wanted to inspire and lead people, but there's always been this crutch that you can't do it until you've attained a certain level of success, meaning your wisdom isn't quite proven enough for people to follow. I have a goal now to share my experiences and the willpower it took to get here. And even though it didn't happen when I wanted it to happen, it did happen. Putting it into perspective, it really wasn't that long to wait. You can listen and learn from others' life's experience stories, but until you experience life, it won't be the same appreciation. Be a silent soldier, but vigilant when it comes to your leadership. Proverbs 17:27. The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered.